With me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Thursday Night Football Overtime. Giants, Eagles. If these two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's NFC East. Family business. And you know how the family do it. So you thought this game was going to be trash, huh? Hey, didn't you? I told anybody that would listen, this is going to be a good game. As a matter of fact, in my Flick community, the Mob Squad, MOBB, stand up, we in the building. The first thing I put in the comment section, after welcoming everybody to the comment section, the first comment I made, and there were a lot of comments on the night, and I want to thank every single one of you who joined me tonight in the chat. It was a lot of fun, as it always is. We watched the game together. The first thing I commented on, I said that this game is going to be crazy, and I didn't know D-Jax was back. And I asked them, did you guys know that? Because I didn't know he was playing tonight. I knew that Sterling Shepard was back. I did not know that D-Jax was back. However, I said this game's going to be crazy. I said that in the first quarter with 14 minutes and 50 seconds left. So I already knew anytime these two teams mix it up, for whatever reason, it's always wacky. I don't know if you guys remember. Now, again, this division was trash last year too. Some of you guys forget these things so quickly. You know, speaking of which, before I even get to the rest of my story, I want to say this before I forget. I was on the phone with my dad today. My dad is a massive Cowboys fan, for anybody that doesn't know. I've told this story a million times on how I became a Washington fan and how the rest of my family are Cowboys fans, with the exception of one of my sisters who's a Falcons fan. Anyway, I was talking to my dad tonight, and we were laughing about how bad this division is. And he was talking about, we were doing a football pool, and my dad was playing in the pool, and I was getting his picks from him. And as I was calling out the games, I said, all right, Dallas at Washington. And he started laughing, and he was saying, man, boy, do these two teams stink or what? He said, man, and my dad's from the island, so he's got an accent. He said, man, these teams so goddamn trash. This shit is ridiculous. So I knew what he was trending towards. He said, man, I don't even know if I want to pick Dallas. Sorry ass. I said, look, man, for as bad as y'all are, y'all still can score. We can't score a damn thing. He said, man, this is the last time I'm picking us. Give me Dallas, man. Shit. He didn't want to pick them. But we shared a laugh together, and then he told me afterwards, you know who's going to win this division, right? And I said, nah, who you think? I said, I think y'all going to win it personally. He's like, we ain't winning shit, man. He said, Philly going to win this damn division. And I said, why you feel that way? And he said, watch, I'm telling you. He didn't give me no reason. He just said, I'm telling you, Philly going to win this damn division. And I said, all right. I said, they just as sorry as the rest of us in this damn division. They stink just like everybody else. They banged up just like everybody else. I don't know who the hell's going to win this division. It's either Dallas or Philly. Really, honestly speaking, I think it's going to be one of those two teams. I think Washington has a shot, but they can't get out of their own way. I just feel like the Eagles and Dallas are the two most talented teams in this division, and they are one of those two are going to prevail when it's all said and done. But it's funny because when you see games like tonight, it just reinforces that the Eagles just find a way. With them, it's usually not pretty. The San Francisco win wasn't pretty. Hell, the loss against the Ravens last week wasn't pretty, but it was gritty. They were down 30-14 late in that game, and they almost tied it up and sent it to overtime. So this team just finds a way. They continue to fight. But back to my original story. This division, and that's why I started that story anyway. Boss told me, he said, don't forget this division been bad. This shit didn't just happen this year. This division been sorry. And he's right. You know, a lot of us have selective memory. This division wasn't good last year. Remember, I kept talking about how I wanted this division to be won by somebody who was at least at or above 500. And remember, the Eagles got hot late in the season, and they were able to make that happen. But not without a little bit of strife. But they got it done. And, you know, this division hasn't been good for quite some time. You know, it's been a bad division. There may be one team in it that's good, but for the most part, this division has been garbage for a while now. And this is just the culmination of it. And so These two teams played last year, and that game last year was awful. If you remember, that was the Eli Manning game where he got in. It was his last game, farewell. You know, everybody thought it was going to be this storybook ending when Eli comes in and they win the game. And it was tragic. It was like 13-13 when it went to overtime. Wentz had to take the Eagles down the field late because I think it was like 13-6. They were losing. It was a bad game. It really was. Not like this one. This one was fun to watch. A lot of nonsense in it, which you expect from two NFC East teams going at it. But at least this one had some dramatics and it was back and forth. That game last year was awful. And the Eagles found a way to pull it out. And the Eli Manning feel-good story right off into the sunset was destroyed by Wentz and the Eagles last season. But these two teams, I said all of that to say this. When these two teams meet, it's usually a close game with a wild finish. We all remember the Deshaun Jackson punt return with no time left as he backpedals into the end zone. These two teams just play each other with these crazy, weird finishes. And for whatever reason, the Giants always come out on the short end of these games. I think it's now 8 straight losses to the Eagles for the Giants. They just don't know how to beat them for whatever reason. They can't find a way to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And they found a way to throw it away tonight. Evan Ingram, my God, I put this in the community tonight. I said, this is a guy that is so talented, but man, is he so disappointing. He is nowhere near his full potential, and I don't know if he'll ever get there. So many Washington fans have asked me over the years, would you trade for Evan Ingram? I'm like, no, because of plays like this one right here. He's so talented. You can do so much with him, but in the most crucial situations, he'll let you down. I've seen him drop the football so many times throughout his career. This is one of the biggest drops he's had in his career. You know, you got a chance to ice the game, get your second win in a row for a young head coach that's figuring it out, for a young quarterback that's trying to gain confidence. Your young quarterback puts it right on the money, perfect throw to put this game away, and he drops it. He drops the goddamn football, and you ultimately lose the football game. So that's a tough way to go out. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but the defense had a chance to get a stop. They did, but they shouldn't have been put in that position. Evan Ingram needs to make that catch. So, you know, that's what bad teams do. I talk about this with the fan base all the time when I'm breaking down film. When we do something stupid, I say, this is why you're 1-5. This is what 1-5 teams do. That's why the Giants are 1-6. That's what 1-6 teams do. You make those kind of mistakes in crucial situations. That's what young teams do. That's what bad teams do. And usually they're one and the same. Young teams are usually bad teams. They're usually one and the same in this league. And they usually make those types of mistakes and lose these type of ball games. And so it's a tough, bitter pill to swallow. But when you're the Giants and you got a really young football team and you got a first-year head coach, these are the types of things that usually happen to you. And I actually thought Joe Judge managed the end of this game beautifully, gave his team a chance with 40 seconds to get the football back and have a chance to kick a field goal to win it, but it just wasn't meant to be. And so big game by Wentz. You know, a lot of people were talking shit in the community about Wentz. I still think this guy is a upper tier quarterback. He does some questionable things. I will admit that. Granted, you know, he's one of those guys that just doesn't know when to say when. Sometimes you lose on a play. And these guys on the other side of the football that are playing defense, they get paid too. And so sometimes they win. Sometimes the defensive coordinator dials up the play, the perfect play to defend what you had called in the huddle. And you just got to give them credit. He doesn't know when to say when. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? You got us on this one. Tip your cap, keep it pushing. He wants to make something happen on every play, and that's why he gets sacked so much. That's why he's always getting injured. That's why he's throwing stupid picks like the one he threw to James Bradbury when you got a chance to get points. These are things you can't do, and Wentz does them way too often, but you take the good with the bad. For all of that shit that I just said, you saw what he did tonight when the game was on the line. They were down 11 with 5 minutes left, and he takes his team down the field, not once, but twice, to give them the 22-21 victory. Threw for over 360 yards in this game, or 340 yards in this game. What was it? 359, almost threw for 360 in this game. So he was phenomenal. When they needed him the most, he stepped up. That throw to Boston Scott, can't do it much better than that. I mean, you couldn't have walked up and handed it to him any better, partner. So you say what you want about Wentz. The guy is still a hell of a quarterback. He does a lot of things that you don't like, some questionable shit at times. But what you cannot deny is the talent that this guy possesses. He's one of these elite quarterbacks that when he gets out of the pocket, he can make something happen. He can make a boo-boo, but more times than not, he's going to make a big play for your football team. And I love that this is the thing. I don't love a lot of the things the Eagles do. You know, I don't love Doug Peterson's philosophy on going for two. I don't love his aggressive nature going for it on fourth down when he shouldn't. I love the restraint he's shown tonight because he definitely wanted to go for it deep in his own territory. He was tempted, but he punted the football, and that was a smart move on his part. But I got to say this. I love the fact that they take shots, man. The Eagles are so fearless offensively when it comes to taking deep shots down the field. 3rd and 22, 3rd and 24, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 1st and 10, 1st and 20, 2nd and 24, 2nd and 2. It doesn't matter what the down and distance is. They're not afraid to chuck it 40 yards down the field. Wentz is always looking for the deep ball. And they hit a big one down the field to John Hightower, and that really changed the game. And Hightower's had some struggles catching the football this year. Had a deep ball last week against the Ravens that he dropped. But game on the line, he made a big play there, really jump-started this comeback. And again, I love the aggressive nature of this Eagles offense. They never stop attacking. Doesn't matter if they've got 3 healthy receivers or a plethora. Doesn't matter if it's Hightower, Deshaun Jackson, or Travis Fulgham. They're going to keep attacking down the field. They did it again tonight, and it paid off huge dividends. The defense stepped up late, even though they struggled throughout most of this game, and the defense did not deserve a win tonight. The offense did because of their heroics late, but the defense didn't deserve a win. They got gashed in that fourth quarter, and when the game was on the line, Evan Ingram was wide ass open for a first down to end the game. But at the very end, when they needed to stop to make sure they couldn't get in the field goal range, they got the stop, and they win this football game 22-21. They take sole possession of first place at 2-4-1. And now we'll see what happens with the Cowboys in Washington on Sunday as to figure out where the Eagles will be, whether they'll be in first place or they'll be in second after Sunday's action. We will see. For the Giants, this is a heartbreaker. And I think we've said that a couple of times about the Giants this season, whether you're talking about the Chicago game, you're talking about the Rams game, or you're talking about this game. You know, they've had opportunities to win games late this season. And this, again, what a young team does, you lose football games close late because you don't know how to win. They did it again tonight. They had no business losing this football game. They did everything they needed to do with the exception of the Evan Ingram play to win this football game. I get it. The defense gave it up. Like, the defense should not have been on the field in that position. So the defense played well enough all night long. I get it when you need to stop or two, because they had 2 opportunities to get 1 stop. They had an opportunity when they were up 2 scores, up 11 to get a stop. They didn't. But then they got another opportunity to get a stop, and they didn't get that one either. I understand that they should have never been put in that position. Not to make excuses, get the goddamn stop. But they had done their job all night long and put the offense in a position to put the game away, which is what you want. You want the game to be put away by your offense, not your defense. They had an opportunity, and Evan Ingram didn't cash in. So you say what you want about this defense, and you got the Lewis kid falling asleep behind the wheel, allowing Hightower to get behind him. Look, that's tough titties. I get it. A wise man once told me, tough titties, but the milk is still good. It is what it is. Tough titties said the kitties, but the milk is still good. That's what a wise man once told me. Got to find a way to win this game if you're the Giants, and they didn't. They didn't find ways to make plays down the stretch when it was winning time. And that's unfortunate because I thought Daniel Jones played well enough to win. How about the run by Daniel Jones? The 70-some-odd yard run. Got tackled by the turf monster. He was running as fast as he could, so damn fast that he couldn't keep his balance. And he did the dreaded look over the shoulder because he thought somebody was coming, and that's when he lost his damn balance. Just run straight, fella. Young fella, just run straight as fast as you can. He looked over his shoulder, and that's when he lost his damn balance. And I could see it coming. As he got to the 15, I said, oh, shit. He's running out of steam, and he's losing balance. And he went down right around the 8-yard line or so, the 10, and then stumbled to about the 8. Good thing they got in because that would have been really bad if they didn't. But tough way to go out if you're the Giants. I had a chance to make it 2 in a row after losing your first 5. You would have been right in the thick of things in this division with a win. And you're still not out of it, but you made it a lot tougher on yourself because now you're 1-2 in the division. And at this point, I've already stressed this. You got to go 4-2, 5-1, you know, and the Cowboys still have a chance to go 6-0 in the division. You've got to go at least 4-2 in the division if you're going to win it, because there aren't many wins for this division to have outside of it. There are not many wins outside of this division to be had by this division. So if you're going to win this division with 6 or 7 wins, you better win 4 or 5 in the division to make it easy on yourself. The Giants aren't going to do that now. They've lost 2. They're not winning the final 3 divisional games that they have. They're not going to sweep all 3 of those games. So they had to have this one. They had opportunities. They didn't get it done. And that one stings. It was good to see Sterling Shepard back. He made a big difference for this offense because instead of it just being Slayton and Ingram, it was Slayton, Shepard, and Ingram. And it's hard to even count Ingram because of his inconsistencies, but he is still a big part of that offense. And Ingram and Shepard being back really helped them tonight. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get it done, however, as they dropped to 1-6 on the season. So, got some super chats. Want to go ahead and knock these out real quick. Lortz of Orthanic, thank you for the super chat. Lortz of Orthanic, who writes, took a chance on Boston Scott in fantasy, and that man delivered. Big way to step up for his injured running backs and receivers too. Messy, but a big W for Philly. Absolutely. It's never clean with this Eagles team. I mean, hell, you look at their first win of the season versus the 49ers. That was not a clean. That was far from a clean victory, but a win's a win's a win in the National Football League. You'll take it any way you can get it. And now they're 2-4-1 and right in the heart of this divisional race. Boston Scott was a massive difference maker tonight. And if you had him in fantasy, you did well tonight because he stepped up big for this Eagles football team. Got another super chat here from Big Blue Rising. Thank you for the super chat, Big Blue Rising. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, I want Tom Coughlin back. I need to see my Giants go 7-9. I can't stand double-digit loss seasons anymore. I'm sad. This was a very winnable game. I tell you what, I like Joe Judge a lot. You know how I feel about him. I told you that I think this guy's going to be a really good coach in this league. It's rough, though, because you don't have a lot of talent on that football team, and you're trying to figure it out. You need to blame Dave Gettleman. That's who really needs to be at the forefront of a lot of your anger and frustration, because you should have more talent on this team than you do right now. But that being said, I don't see anything less than a double-digit loss season for you. You're already more than halfway there at 1-6. With the way this division is set up, you're going to hit 10 losses. Probably more likely you're going to hit about 12 or 13 losses on this season. But we'll see what happens. You're not winning any more than 4 games. That's the max. That's the cap on your season. And so you're getting double digits, whether you like it or not. If you wanted to avoid double-digit losses, you needed to win tonight to start building on some momentum. Because as I've mentioned before, confidence begets winning. Winning begets confidence. You build that momentum. It's a beautiful, vicious, flavor, delicious cycle. You needed to win tonight to start believing, hey, we can do this. You know, we just beat 2 NFC East teams in a row. We can get hot and turn it up. You know, I don't know who you got in week number 8, but you could have easily said, hey, we got Washington in week 9. We can beat them again. And all of a sudden, you know, you could look up and you've won 3 out of your last 4. You've won 4 straight, whatever it is. And you're talking about a different team. You lose tonight and now that's dead. All the momentum you got from the win versus Washington on Sunday, that's gone. Now you got a bitter taste in your mouth, and you got to sit there and let it stew for the next week and a half because you played on a Thursday, so you don't play again until next Sunday. So this one stings. Really does. Thank you for the super chat. Big Blue Rising. Got another one here from Silver V, my man Silver Villains. Thank you for the super chat, Silver V, who writes, man, that tight end Ingram should be ashamed of himself. Shaking my head. And he said, and here it is. Here it's being coined the Danny Dives play. Laughing my ass off. Way to go, Big Blue. Shaking my damn head. The Danny Dives play. That's the new name for that. Like I said, he scored the touchdown, so it won't go down in infamy. But we'll all remember that time that he broke off a big run that should have been like a 90-yard touchdown and instead ended up being like a 79-yard run that he stumbled down and had a face dive at like well, I don't even think it was a face plant. I think he ended up spinning and rolling down to like the 8 or 9-yard line. Oh, man, you could tell. I told you, he looked over his shoulder once, took a peek, and he lost his equilibrium after that. And I could see it. I said, this joker's going to fall. And I saw him stumbling. I'm like, can he keep his balance? He couldn't do it. Oh, man, that was hilarious. Yeah, Ingram should be ashamed of himself. And, this is one of those losses where it really falls squarely in your lap. We could talk about all the different plays that could have been made throughout the game. And, this play could have been made. If this play doesn't happen, if that play doesn't happen, maybe the outcome is different. But really, you could just point to that one play. Because none of that extra stuff, none of the Wentz taking them down the field, the Boston Scott game-winning touchdown, none of that shit happens if Ingram catches the football. Game's over right there. It's done. Nothing else to talk about. Nothing else to say. So, that one stings. He's not going to sleep well tonight. I can tell you that much right now. Thank you for the super chat, Silver V. Got another one here from Big Blue Rising. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Big Blue Rising. Greatly appreciate you. Big Blue Rising writes, Ingram is a first-round pick in his 4th year. No sympathy, Lou. Get him. Nah, no sympathy at all. I've been so disappointed with him. And you saw the talent at Ole Miss, but you also saw drops on film coming out of Ole Miss. But I always felt like the talent would overshadow, some of the drops. Because, a guy of his talent, you find ways to get, even if it's a wide receiver screen with that kind of talent, that kind of speed. Remember, he ran a 4.41 at the combine. This guy can fly. So, in my mind, I just said they're going to find ways, creative ways to use him. And they do jet sweeps, things of that nature. They get it to him. But he should be killing guys up the seam. He should be killing guys on corner routes, like the one that he just dropped tonight. That was simply a seam, a straight go ball, and he ran right past the defender, and he was open. I think it was a go ball. It might have been a corner route. Either way, he was open. Catch a goddamn football, and he has no business being as inconsistent as he's been. And for whatever reason, he just doesn't seem to be able to get out of his own way. Drops, missed assignments. He's just so inconsistent. Injuries, you name it, he's done it in 4 years, and he hasn't been worth the first-round pick they spent on him. And it's a shame because he's so talented. Thank you for the super chat and doubling up, Big Blue Rising. Got another super chat here from RM High Vibes Tribe. What's going on, girl? You switched the name up on me. But I know the picture. I know the little thumbnail anywhere. What's going on, Reby? She says, your girl, Reby, can't keep up. Happy we won, but we haven't been on it. Thank God for you keeping me up. Miss you. Much love. Much love to you, too. I definitely miss you. I'm glad to hear from you. Glad that you're doing well. And look. Y'all might win this division as bad as it's been. You haven't missed anything. I'm just telling you right now. It's probably best that you haven't been watching as closely because it's been bad, Reby. It's been pretty damn bad. Your boys have been stinking it up. My boys have been stinking it up. Everybody in the division has been stinking it up. But when it's all said and done, you might be the best of the worst. And that might be good enough to qualify you for the postseason. And again, once you get there, all bets are off. Every time we make fun of a division winner that's under 500, they get to the postseason and they beat somebody. Whether it's Seattle with the Beastquake game against the Saints, or it's the Carolina Panthers beating the Arizona Cardinals, and I think that was the most recent one. We see it all the time. You just got to get there. And all bets are off. You get that home playoff game. And maybe by the time we get to that point of the season, more fans will be in the stands. The first time they let Philadelphia Eagles fans in the stands last week, they had to send somebody to jail for getting in a fight. It's Philly, man. What do you expect? But I appreciate you, Rebe, and I'm glad to hear from you. I'm really glad to hear you're doing well. Good to hear from you, as always. All right, so let's get to some comments here and talk about this game. Niners fan says 37 Lewis for the Giants absolutely stinks. Yeah, he fell asleep behind the wheel on that deep ball to John Hightower, and you just can't do that. In that situation, the one thing you should be telling yourself is nothing cheap, nothing deep. You know, if they want to dink and dunk their way down the field, if they want to burn up clock to score this touchdown, be my guest. Take up 4 minutes and 37 seconds to score this touchdown. You only got 5 minutes and 41 seconds. So if you take 4 minutes and 37 seconds, you only got a minute and 4 seconds. And now you got to use a kick, an onside kick. And look, just don't get beat deep in that situation. Don't give up the big play. Why are you eyeballing the quarterback anyway? Your luggage is right here, right next to you. What are you looking all the way back there for? Then you get smoked, and then you don't make the tackle. He cuts inside, picks up an additional 8-9 yards. That can't happen. And that's situational awareness, and that's what you don't get with young teams. They just don't get it. That's the thing that's so frustrating. You know, you watch a young team, you watch a veteran team, rarely does shit like that happen with a veteran team. They don't allow guys behind them in a situation like that. But when you're playing a young team that doesn't get it, that's why they lose games like this. Because they make critical mistakes in crucial situations. You're up 11. The one thing you don't want to allow to happen is a quick strike. And by allowing John Hightower behind you for a 50-plus yard gain, that's essentially what you just did, is gave up a big play, got them all the way down there, and they literally scored that touchdown in like a minute and 10 seconds. They didn't take a ton of time off the clock scoring that touchdown. That's the one thing you couldn't let them do in that situation. Look, if they score, they score. Just don't let it happen quickly. That's what happens when you don't pay attention to the details of the game. Got another comment here. This one is from Cody _ who says, crucial drop by Ingram. That's rough to the Giants and Jones. Great job by Wentz, though. Absolutely. You know, that drop changed everything, gave Wentz another opportunity, and he took full advantage of it. Niners fan says, Joe Judge has done a superb job. I think so. I told you before he even coached his first game that I really like this guy. I listened to him in his introductory press conference, and I know that doesn't mean much because a lot of coaches sound great in their introductory post press conference, but I could hear it. And then you look at his background and who he's coached under, and he's coached under some legendary coaches in both the college game and the pro game, and you're thinking to yourself, just by osmosis, this guy should be great. And then when you listen to his mindset and you listen to him talk about his philosophies on players and how he's like, look, I don't really want to talk about what guys can't do. What can the guy do well? Let's take that and let's put him in positions to do that. That's what a lot of coaches fail to do. A lot of coaches have a philosophy, and their philosophy is, this is how I want to run my offense, and you got to conform to what I do. Not, oh, this is the talent that I have. Oh, what is it that you do well? Okay, you do this well? Well, let's do that. Let's put you in position. That's why the Patriots are so good. The Patriots take the stuff that you disregarded, all right, that you threw away. That second-round pick that you spent on Kyle Van Noy and you think he's trash in Detroit, let me get him. I'll fix him up because I'll take the things that he does well and I'll minimize the things that he doesn't do well. And I'll make him look like an all-star. I'll make him look like a Pro Bowler. That's what the Patriots do. That's what Joe Judge said he was going to do. And I believe him. And not enough coaches think that way. They think about their system. This game is not hard. It's really about players more than anything else. You get into the red zone, I don't really care about schemes, and it's about players. Do you have a guy that can make a play? Yeah, you can scheme guys open. There are ways to do that. But at the end of the day, your guy against my guy, who's going to win? And if you got a guy that's going to win, you're going to win. And I just think Joe Judge has done a phenomenal job. I really have. Or I really do think he's done a phenomenal job. XX Retro XX says, if we beat Dallas and beat the Giants, I feel like we're in a good position. Absolutely. Easier said than done. We already lost to the Giants, and Dallas is going to be a tough opponent. Despite what you saw on Monday, despite the record, they're really talented. And they can score. That's the thing that scares me the most with Dallas. Isn't the fact that their defense stinks or our defense is inconsistent or our offense isn't any good. It's that they can score. At a moment's notice, they could go off for 34. We don't know what 30 looks like. Now, I heard somebody say earlier in one of my shows, well, if Ron would have kicked the field goal against the Eagles, we would have scored 30 in week 1. That's true. But we didn't. And we haven't scored 30 this year. And I don't know if we are going to score 30 at any point this season. You know, I was talking to my dad earlier, and he was like, look, if you can't score 30 this week, when the hell are you going to score 30? Point taken. I understand. I just don't see it happening. But to your point, if you beat Dallas, and I don't want to talk about the Giants after the bye. You just want to get the job done in week 7 versus the Cowboys. That's all I want to talk about. That's all I want to hear about. I don't want to hear about looking down the road at the Bengals or the Lions or none of that. Can you beat Dallas in week 7? If you don't, your season is over. It's done. And I talked about that on the show earlier tonight. Cody _ says, what a freaking dime by Carson Wentz to Boston Scott. That looked like Aaron Rodgers throwing that ball. Look, when Wentz is on, I keep telling people, Wentz is the truth, man. Look, he's going to make some boneheaded decisions. He's going to take some unnecessary sacks. He may get injured because he doesn't know when to say when. But when this guy is locked in, remember, in 2017, he was going to win. He wasn't going to be a candidate. He was going to win league MVP that year before he got hurt versus the Rams. He was going to win league MVP that year. This guy is elite when he's dialed in. He's elite. Reese says, I thought the Giants had won, Lou. Evan Ingram has hands like a snake. Yeah. What more can I say? Not really much more to add to that comment. I mean, gotta catch the damn football, especially when the game's on the line like that. Cody _ says, bad teams lose games like this. Giants are a bad team, LOL. But yes, Louie, this game was very fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I always enjoy when other teams and fans of other teams enjoy our product. I get that the division stinks, but we don't want to embarrass ourselves on a national stage. There are going to be a bunch of jokes. We're going to be the butt of the joke. And we should be. We stink. Our division is trash. But when they put us on TV against one another, we need to make sure that we put forth a good enough product so that everyone says, hey, the division stinks, but at least that was a good game. And that's what, and look, it still was some funk involved in the game. There was a stretch there where Wentz throws an interception. No, Daniel Jones throws an interception. Then Wentz throws an interception. Then the Eagles miss a field goal. And you're like, what the hell did I just watch? You watched NFC East football. But when it was all said and done, the game turned out to be really entertaining. And that's all I asked them to do. Don't embarrass the family. That's all I ever ask teams in the division when they're playing one another. Now look, if you're playing somebody outside the division, you can get your ass whooped like Dallas did, and I will be cheering for it every single step of the way. But when it's two teams in the division, all I ask is that you don't embarrass the family. That's it. Only rule. Don't embarrass the family. They didn't do that tonight. Touche. Reese says, Deshaun Jackson is made of glass, Lou. He is. For as dynamic as he can be, and it's really gotten worse, as he's gotten older. And that was unfortunate tonight. That wasn't like, oh, he pulled up lame with a hammy. This was just, he got bent up, man. That's a rough situation to be in there. He shouldn't have been in the game, first of all. Personally, I know you want to make a play and, you put Action Jackson back there when you need a big punt return. No, he just came off of injury. He's the first game he's played in since week 1 or 2. Why would you put him out there in that situation? I don't understand that. Ricky L says, I take high blood pressure pills. These damn Eagles ain't helping with it either. No, they are not, Rick. You've been in some tight ones this season, man. The Ravens game last week, this one this week. Obviously, the 49ers game was close. You had, let's see, the Bengals game was an overtime tie. You've definitely been, and even to watch the game in week 1, I know the scoreboard said Washington won by 10, but you had a 4th down late in that game, and if you convert that thing, it's only a 7-point game at that time. You convert that 4th down, who's to say you don't go down and score, tie the game up like you did tonight, and win it. So, yeah, you've been in some really close ball games this season. Haven't been able to pull them out. Hell, even that Pittsburgh game, you were driving it down the field to try to go and win that one, before the Steelers put you out of your misery. So, yeah, man, you've had some rough ones this year. Your squad is not making it any easier. Reed says, the turf had some amazing technique on that form tackle on Daniel Jones. Textbook tackling. I mean, that's how you teach it. You wrap and you twist. That's how the Seahawks teach it, at least. You wrap, you twist, guy goes down, man, and did it to perfection. Brian Say says, Louie T, a comedian, I swear to God. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I take it as a compliment. Emperor Meat says, Evan Ingram and his drops. He's most likely gone, by the way. I heard your little comment about being better than the Giants. We're on a 4-game win streak versus y'all, and the record is 104, 69, and 4. I acknowledge that. And I'm totally fine because these things come in bunches with you guys. Once we actually get good, I feel like we'll be able to beat you on a regular basis. But we struggle with you. We've always struggled. I've always said I hated going to the Meadowlands back when you were at the Meadowlands before this MetLife Stadium. Used to hate going to Giant Stadium. We used to constantly get our asses whooped. Some of the worst losses that I can recall were at Giant Stadium. We always struggled with Eli Manning. I venture to say, I can't confirm nor deny this, but I would put some cold hard cash down on this. Eli Manning's record against Washington is the best of any NFC East team in the division. I would put any amount of money down on that. Feel pretty confident in making that assessment. We always struggle with the Giants. Of all teams in the division, I always would say, I don't want any parts of the Giants. They're the one team that I always said I was never afraid to go to Philly to try to go get a win. I've always said Dallas, we play them close and you never know when we're going to sneak them. But the Giants are the one team where I'm like, even if they stink, they still beat us. That one year you had nothing to play for. You already clinched a playoff berth. We were looking to get in. We just needed to win. You had nothing to play for. 2016, you still beat us. It's just how it is. You guys just seem to beat us. And Evan Ingram, got to catch the football. Got to catch the football. Cody _ says, if only the Packers had the effort this Philly team has. I feel like this team gives up when we get down rough. Yeah, I don't know if, the Eagle, or if the Packers are necessarily a team that gives up per se, or if they're just outmatched. This is the thing. They're good front runners, are the Packers. And they play, and I told you, it's more about the coach and I think less about the players. When you guys get down, your coach doesn't know how to adjust the game plan. And so there are certain things, almost like a hitter in baseball. The best hitters in baseball, when there's 2 strikes, they make an adjustment. You can't have the same stance. Can't hold the bat the same way. You can't have the same approach that you have with 1 strike or no strikes that you have with 2 strikes. It's a different mindset now. You've got to think differently. You got to protect more of the plate now. Got to be looking for something all speed. Got to be looking all over the place. Got to be able to fight off a pitch that you weren't expecting. It's a different approach when you got 2 strikes. When you're down in a game and you get down big, but it's still early, you got to adjust the game plan. Okay, this is not what we thought we were going to get. This is not what we signed up for, but here's how we're going to attack it now. Change of plans, fellas. This is what we're going to do now. And he doesn't have that. The game plan is this right here, and if it doesn't work, well, they got us. No, it doesn't have to be that way, though. You didn't have to lose 38-10 on Sunday. It was 10-0. You were dominating. Okay, they had a good quarter. The game didn't have to be over. You still had 2 whole quarters. So what? It's 28-10 at halftime. Or 21-10. I forgot which one it was. That game didn't have to be over. But it was. Because you didn't make any adjustments. Eagles do fight, though. I do give them that. The Eagles do fight to the bitter end. That's what makes them scary. They're never out of it. Reese says, that pass to Boston Scott was majestic, Lou. Wentz dropping dimes like a bank teller with a bad hand. That was a hell of a pass. I mean, and think about this. Boston Scott's like 5'0". You know how hard of a pass it is to throw it on a line to a guy that's shorter than the defender that's guarding him, and to put it where he put it? Man, that takes the guts of a burglar and the accuracy of a damn computer, of a machine. Emperor Meat says, you know you're my guy, but I can't let you blow down on us when you simply can't beat us. By the way, on Friday, the memory lane, you know you already did the 2012 draft, right? It was 2 years ago. No. I did the whole draft. I just wanted to go back and I know I did 2012. I wanted to specifically focus on the first round because I didn't spend that much time on the first round of that draft. I skimmed over the first round, and then I did the rest of the draft. I talked about guys like Russell Wilson in the third round and Kirk Cousins in the fourth round. I talked about everybody in that draft. I didn't do that this time. I just wanted to focus in on the first round. That was it. So it was a little bit different. And, you know, you were OG on the podcast. So you can recall, and you might have talked about that already. Most people haven't been exposed to the podcast until I brought it to YouTube. So for a lot of them, all of this is brand new. They've never heard this. They weren't listening to the podcast. And I told you, the podcast was fledgling. It was fledgling for a little while there. I didn't know if it was going to survive. But it was people like you keeping the pod alive. So I appreciate you. And look, I'm not asking for you to let me off the hook with your Giants kicking our ass. Because y'all do beat us quite often. All right. But you do stink. Just like we do. And that's, you know, that was the part of Sunday's loss that really pissed me off, is that you're so trash. Your team is so trash. Now you're better with Sterling Shepard. You're better. You're much better with Sterling Shepard. The team we got with CJ Board and all of that trash, we had no business losing in that game. You scored 13 points on offense in that game, 7 of which was helped by the interception thrown by our quarterback, Kyle Allen. You scored 20 total points in the game, 14 of them off of turnovers. It was not a good offensive performance, yet you still won. So I cannot take that away from you. Got a comment here from Cloud, but let me just say this. Emperor Meach, you know you're my guy. There's certain fans of different teams that I just rock with. I just rock with y'all. Because we've been going at it for a long time. We go back and forth. But there's a respect that goes just deeper than being family members. Or just, you know, you watching and commenting. There's a connection that goes deeper with some of y'all. You one of those dudes for me. You know that. Cloud. It's been a while since we chopped it up, Cloud. Where the hell you been at, man? Damn, it seems like it's been forever. Anyway, what's going on, man? Cloud says, our division is very dysfunctional. With that said, had we lost this game, someone would have been fired. I don't know if anyone would have gotten fired, but I could see how something would have to change. Something might have to change. Because again, and that's how losing to the Giants makes you feel. And I know Emperor Meach is over there just steaming like Willie Beeman right now because I keep making his team seem like it's the worst in football. It's not. The Jets are. But the Giants it just feels like if you lose to them, something's wrong with your team. This was, again, the Sterling Shepard makes a huge difference. I know people like, why you keep bringing up Sterling Shepard like he's some kind of all-pro receiver? He makes a massive difference in that offense. He really does. He really, really does change things offensively for them. They looked a lot more potent and a lot more of a real NFL offense today. They looked a lot more like a team that could actually threaten to score. I wasn't threatened by your offense last week. I really wasn't. With Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate and Darius Slayton and with a sprinkle of Ingram, now you got guys that can threaten me. But I don't know if anybody would have been fired had the Eagles lost this game. I do know that there's a new level of desperation that you sink to when you lose a game like this at home. If you would have lost this game. And I think it makes it a little bit worse too because you own the Giants. You own them. So if you lose to the Giants, something is fundamentally wrong. A wise woman once told me all good things must come to an end. So at some point, the Giants are going to beat you. I thought tonight was the night. It felt like the night. It felt right. Wentz said no. And Evan Ingram said, no, not tonight. So, got a super chat though. So I'm going to go ahead and take that real quick. Got a super chat here from Kristen Lewis. Thank you for the super chat. Kristen Lewis, greatly appreciate it. Got another super chat here. And it's from Kristen Lewis. So you must have made a mistake the first time. I don't care. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Kristen Lewis, greatly appreciate you. Kristen Lewis writes, hey Lou, what you think about a league-wide shakeup redraft, if you will, of all teams for both conferences? I mean, how would that work? You know, I mean, how do you do that? Like, you just throw everybody in a pot, and who gets the first pick? Is it like fantasy football rules, snake draft? Like, I mean, how does it work? I can tell you this much. I came into the season feeling like the NFC was the stronger conference. I no longer feel that way now. So if you were to shake up the NFC, throw them in one pot, and then disperse the players amongst the 16 teams in that conference, I don't really know how it would turn out, but I'll tell you this, I still think the AFC is the stronger conference right now. You know, when I look at Kansas City, and I look at Pittsburgh, and I look at Tennessee, I see some really good football teams out there. You know, some teams that have a chance to do some serious damage. You know, Baltimore, don't forget about them. The AFC, to me, has some really good, and we still don't know what Vegas is. You know, still trying to figure them out. Don't know what this Tua edition of the Dolphins is going to look like, but they're 3-3. The Browns, they're an enigma. You know, they could easily go to Cincinnati and lose this week, or they could go to Cincinnati and beat them by 30 points. But there's so many teams out there that are scary, that are dangerous. I look at the NFC, and it's like it's the haves and the have-nots in the AFC, in the NFC, rather. You know, you got about 4 or 5 really good teams, and then everybody else is just kind of like, you know, Detroit stinks, Minnesota stinks, Dallas stinks, Washington stinks, the Giants stinks, Philadelphia stinks. You know, I still don't know what to make of Carolina, but the Falcons stink. I mean, it's a lot of bad teams in the NFC. My gosh, it's a lot of bad teams. So, you know, it's the Bears, it's the Seahawks, you know, it's the Packers, it's the Bucks, maybe the Saints. I don't even know about the Saints right now. You know, obviously you got, you know, Arizona. Are they really good? I mean, the last 2 teams they beat have a combined 2 wins. So it's hard for me to just jump back on the Arizona bandwagon. You know, it would be interesting to see what would happen if you had a redraft of sorts, but, you know, hard to say. Emperor Meech, thank you for the super chat. Emperor Meech, greatly appreciate you, who writes, nah, I'm not mad. The Gettleman seat is blazing, so I'm cool. You've been trying to run old Getty out of there for the longest, and I don't blame you. He stinks as a general manager. I couldn't stand him in Carolina. I was shocked that he got another job so dang on fast after being fired in Carolina. But I've always said, at all costs, protect Gettleman. Just like in Dallas, for years. At all costs, protect Redhead Jesus. He'll keep the Cowboys mediocre. But I didn't know they were going to go and hire Mike McCarthy. Now I'm like, you know what? That was the best thing that happened. Keep Mike McCarthy and also keep Mike Nolan as the defensive coordinator. At all costs, protect these guys. They are jewels. Protect them. Same could be said for Gettleman in New York. Protect him. He'll keep the Giants mediocre. I don't know how much longer we can keep this charade up, but I'm on board for keeping it as long as we can possibly keep it going on. Thank you for the super chat, Emperor Meech. Got another one here from Cloud. What's going on, Cloud? As I mentioned, man, really good to see you, man. Really good to hear from you. It's been a while. And you may have been lurking, you may have been watching and just not commenting, and that's fine. It's always good to know where some of the OGs are and that you're okay. You know, so every once in a while, every now and again, just holler at your boy and let me know you're okay. So this was good to hear from you. Cloud writes, I've been watching, just haven't been commenting. You know I rock with your content, bruh. I'm taking every game week by week with this team, man. Understood. Totally understood, man. I get it. In this division, that's all you can do. For me, it ain't even week by week. It's quarter by quarter, possession by possession, down by down. All right? Like, it's so hard. It's so exhausting when you're a fan of one of these teams that just stinks. Because things could be going, like, let me just paint this picture for you in this Giants game that we just lost. I hate to hold you guys hostage because you didn't sign up for this. But I just want to paint the picture of what it's like to be a Washington football team fan and when your team is trash, what you go through. So you start out the game versus the Giants and you're thinking, we got a shot. The Giants are winless. They stink. We should win this game. And you come out the gate and you miss a field goal on your opening drive. That's impressive because you don't score opening drive points. You haven't scored an opening drive point the entire season. You've been outscored like 50-something to 10 or 20 in the first quarter of this season. And so you are horrible early in games. You fall down. You get your ass whooped in the first half. You haven't had the lead at halftime of any game this season. And so you move the football magically on your opening possession, but it flames out and you got to kick a field goal. Your kicker misses. Oh, go figure. He's done it before this season. The Giants immediately take the football, go down the field, get a field goal. Their kicker doesn't miss. Then you say, all right, let's get our act together. Your quarterback throws an interception. They return it deep into your territory. They score a touchdown after you decide to blitz on 3rd and 8. They hit you for a touchdown. And oh, by the way, you take your best corner who's having a fantastic season. You move him to safety on the play that they decide to throw the touchdown to their best wide receiver on one of your backup corners. 10-0. So then you say, well, shit, we're down double digits to the goddamn Giants. How is this so? Then you scratch and you claw and you eke your way back into the game, and it's 13-10 at halftime. So now you're thinking, all right, we got all the momentum. We've scored 10 points. We've cut it to a 3-point deficit. Giants haven't done much. You get to the third quarter, and the Giants have a 10-minute drive that takes up the whole third quarter. They had the ball for 12 whole minutes of the third quarter. You got one possession in the third quarter. Daniel Jones throws a pick at the end of that possession, so they don't get any points. But still, however, you get the football to end the third quarter. You start this long marathon drive, and you get down there, and you're like, we got to get a touchdown. We got to take the lead. If we take the lead, we're going to win this game. What do? You settle for a damn field goal. You get all the way down to the 6-yard line after kick a damn field goal. Okay, it's tied. You get the stop that you need defensively, and you're moving it again, and you're like, we got these bastards. There's about 6 minutes left in this game. We got them right where we want them. Worst case scenario, we get in the field goal range, and he's going to make this one. We're going to win this game 16-13, or better yet, we're going to score a touchdown. We're going to beat them 20-13. What does your damn quarterback do? He fumbles the goddamn football, and they scoop that shit up and run for a damn touchdown. Now you're thinking, well, we just lost the game. Nope, not yet, because that's not the Washington football team way. We're not going to let you off the hook that easy. We're going to pull at your heartstrings some more. No, we're not done with you. We're going to move it all the way down the goddamn field. We're going to score a touchdown. We're going to go for 2. And I wanted to go for 2. I'm not going to sit here and second guess. I wanted to go for 2. We had them on their heels. Of course, we don't get it. It's a shit play call. You lose the game 20-19. So, that's what it's like to be a Washington football team fan. Most of you cannot begin to even fathom what it's like to go through this week after week. Now, if you're in this division, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about because your team is going through similar things. But if you're out of this division, you don't know what it's like. You have no idea. Now, some of you, like my man Ree, who's a Bucks fan, he's been going through this shit with Jameis for years. Have a chance, don't have a chance. Jameis throws it away, you lose another game. So he knows only a select few of you can actually fathom what this is like. It's rough. So I'm with you, Cloud. I take it on a week by week, but then I go on a game by game. Then I go on a possession by possession, quarter by quarter, possession by possession, play by play. Because on one play, I'm feeling like we're going to win. I'm on some ESPN 97.8% chance to win. And on the next snap, you got a damn 15% chance to win. That's how quick things change with this football team over here. It's rough. But I thank you anyway for your support, Cloud, as always. Look forward to chopping it up with you in the future. And it's good to hear from you, man. It's been a while. Anyway, I digress. I think that's the first of the night, so I'm doing good. Got another super chat here from Marcus Dixon. Marcus writes, this loss hurts, but do you think it was for the greater good, getting draft positioning, draft assets, getting blue chip players, etc., since we weren't going anywhere anyways? There are different schools of thought, Marcus. There's that thought that you just brought up, the thought of, hey, look, what do you want? You want to get in the playoffs at 6-10? Get your brains bashed in when you get there? You can think of it that way. I'd much rather get in the playoffs. I don't give a shit how I do it. 5-11, 6-10, 7-9. Nobody's going to make me feel bad about getting a ticket. If they're giving out automatic tickets for winning your division and the division happens to be trash, but I get that automatic bid, I'm taking it. Okay? No one's going to make me feel bad about it. I'm much more in the camp, in the thought process of you win to change a culture. Joe Judge is trying to change a culture. In order to change a culture, you must win. There's no such thing as losing to get better players to then change a culture. That's hard to do because it doesn't matter what you do in the draft, how many good players you get. If there's a stench, if there is this mindset from the players that are still there, because you get guys from college, they don't know any better. Yeah, they won at Clemson. They won at Ohio State. They won at Michigan. They won at Alabama. That shit doesn't matter. This is not college football. Nobody gives a shit about you going 37-3 in your college career. Don't nobody give a shit about that. You're now in the big leagues, bro. And around here, we take guys like you that were 5-star recruits, we chew them up and spit them out. So you think you're going to come here and do the shit you were doing against UAB, Birmingham? You think you're going to do the same shit you were doing against Toledo? This ain't Toledo, bro. This is not what you think it is. It's totally different because everybody in this league is just as good as all the players you played with at Alabama. There's no drop off. You don't get to beat up on Missouri. You don't get to beat up on Vandy. There are no easy games. Everybody can play. So if you think a guy's just going to come in here like a Trevor Lawrence and change the game, he might. He might do it, but he ain't playing Georgia Tech next week. He ain't playing Wake Forest. He's going to be playing the Patriots. He's going to be playing the Ravens. He's going to be playing the Steelers. So I'm not a big, draft position. Let me get this guy. He can change our whole franchise. I just want to win and let the chips fall where they may. And I want to get the most talented player that fits my culture and what I'm doing wherever I end up in the draft. That's how I see it. I built my team wherever I am, but I'm trying to win games. I don't want the guys in the locker room thinking it's okay to lose. It's never okay to lose. I don't give a shit when we are, what time of the season it is. It's never okay to lose. Now, as a fan, we do that whole tanking shit, and people do that, and that's all fine and dandy. I don't want the guys in the locker room succumbing to that shit, though. Like last year, as a Washington fan, I wanted to lose because I wanted Chase Young. You get to a point where you're like, hey, there's no salvaging this season. There's nothing good that could come of this season if you're going to be this bad. And look, we've stunk in Washington, but we haven't stunk like that. We haven't been 3-13 bad. We've been 7-8-1, 7-9. When Jay Gruden was here, it was 7-9. It was 7-8-1. It was 9-7. Like, we weren't funky every year with Jay. You know, the first couple of years were rough, but once Kirk got going, we were winning every year. You know, and we'd miss a field goal here, miss a field goal there, and it cost us a game. But we were right there every year. You know, injuries would ravage us, but we were never 3-13 bad. So last year was different. This is a different type of bad. And when you're that bad, it starts to permeate your locker room. You know, guys start to say, here we go again. When shit starts going bad and going downhill, here we go again. That's the same shit that happened last year. You don't want that mindset sinking in. You don't want guys thinking that's okay. I want to win. Now, look, as fans, I'm cool with the, hey, let's lose and get this player or that player. I don't want my players thinking about that. So, as far as, you know, this loss hurting, if you're a Giants fan, yeah, this shit hurts. You know why? Because you want Daniel Jones to start building some confidence. You want Joe Judge to start feeling like, hey, I'm figuring this shit out. You know, we got something here. You know, you want your guys to start believing. You know the best way how you get a young team to buy into a young new head coach? Winning. You know, it's easy to sell a message to people when they see results. You know the hardest thing to tell somebody who's trying to lose weight? You know what the hardest thing to get them to buy into is an exercise regimen and a diet if they've been doing it for 2 weeks and they don't see any weight loss. They don't see any results. This shit isn't working. Even though it may be working. They don't see results. They want instant gratification. They want to step on that scale. If they were 260, they want that scale to say 254 next week. If they don't see that scale says 258 or 256, if that shit says 259, they're like, I did all of that and this is it. This isn't working. It's hard to get someone to buy in when they don't see results. Don't keep telling me, hey guys, if you just buy in, if you just keep doing it our way, you're going to get results. And we're 3-13. That shit doesn't jive. It doesn't add up. Which is why I can't understand when fans want to lose. Because if I'm trying to sell you on something and you don't see the results, you don't see production, why are you going to believe what I'm telling you? Doesn't make sense. But I hear you, Marcus. I think you want to win this game. You got a chance to win the division. If you would have won tonight, you'd have been right in the thick of things. Right in the thick of things. You know, and you know, I don't know how you feel about Daniel Jones, whether he's good or he's not good. You want to draft a new quarterback, whatever the case may be. But a win tonight would have really boosted Daniel Jones's confidence. I don't know about you guys. I actually like Daniel Jones. You know, he does some really questionable things like that fumble at the end of the game. I need you to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings. Come on, bro. Like, you just standing there. I thought Troy hit it right on the head. He was really casual. He just slid over a little bit. Like, okay, I moved 2 inches away from the pocket. They won't get me here. I'm safe. No, you're not safe there, bro. Keep going. But I actually like him. He's talented. He's an athlete. He can throw it. And he played well enough for you to win tonight. Got another super chat here from Christian Lewis. Thank you for tripling it up, Christian. Greatly appreciate you. Christian writes, if we're dead after Dallas this week, do we let Haskins play now? He's never playing another snap for this administration. He's done in Washington. Now, I shouldn't say never because injuries could happen and they may not have anybody else to turn to and they may have to turn it back over to Haskins. But if Kyle Allen is healthy the remainder of the season, if Alex Smith is healthy the remainder of the season, hell, if Steven Montez is healthy, I think they'd go to Steven Montez before they went back to Dwayne. That's how bad it is, and that's how unlikely it is he gets back into the lineup. Carlton Pagano Jackson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Carlton writes, my son is only 2 months and he hears me cussing at the TV for our team and division, LOL. Lord help us all. Love you, Lou. Hashtag Mob Squad. Stand up. Mob Squad in the building. Yeah, man. I got a 2-year-old and I got to watch my mouth because he's at that stage now where he's starting to repeat everything you say. And there are a couple of times where I'm ready to let loose on the squad and then I got to look over and realize I got to be a role model for this youngster over here. And I can't have him going to daycare talking about that's bullshit or shit. I can't have it. But, man, they drive you to want to cuss and to want to drink. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Carlton. I really do. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Jared. Brian Messer, greatly appreciate you, Jared. Also got another super chat here from Vincent Coe. Thank you for the super chat, Vincent Coe. Greatly appreciate you as always. My man Vince writes, for your advices about heading into the 30s last week. Oh, you're welcome. I think my man Ree had a birthday. I want to say his birthday was either this past week or last week. And it was either on one of these overtime shows or on the podcast. And I gave him some advice that he didn't ask for. You know, he asked for a little advice and I gave him probably a lot more than he bargained for. But I appreciate that. You know, I try to impart knowledge whenever I can. And again, a lot of people, they pass it to me. I'm just giving the game that was given to me. You know, look, knowledge, pass it on, you know? And that's what I try to do. Pay it forward is what they say. That's all I'm trying to do. We've hit our 1 hour mark. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Big win for the Eagles, man. They almost blew it. As a matter of fact, they should have lost this game. This is one of those snatching victory from the jaws of defeat type of performances for the Eagles. But whatever it takes to get the dub, that's what you got to do. And they did it tonight. And so now they're 2-4-1, and they're atop of this division, you know. We'll see what happens with Dallas and Washington on Sunday. They could be in sole possession of first place after Week 7, despite having a 2-4-1 mark. If Washington takes care of business versus Dallas, I wouldn't hold my breath if I were Eagles fans out there. But tell you what, this was a gutty performance. You had to have it. You got it. And now, let's see if this can't build. This is the reason why I think the Eagles aren't winning the division. And this is what I told my dad. I said, have you seen their schedule? And, you know, people always talk about, well, it's only 2 difference in games. Everybody in the division plays the same schedule. Only 2 games difference. Well, it's 2 pretty goddamn big games, guys. Okay? Instead of them playing Detroit or Minnesota, you know, or instead of them playing Atlanta or Carolina, they got Green Bay and they got New Orleans. Good luck, guys. Ding! You're going to need it, okay? That makes a big difference. I'm glad I got Detroit. I might not beat them, but at least I got a damn chance. I know one thing's for sure. I'm not beating Green Bay. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, hey, I'm glad I got Carolina. Could have had New Orleans. Could have had Tampa. I got a shot. That's all I asked for. They got a tough schedule. They do. And if they play like this, they will not beat Green Bay. They will not beat New Orleans. They have not played Pittsburgh yet. They got a lot of toughies left on their schedule. A lot of games that they're probably not going to win. They haven't played Seattle yet. A lot of toughies left on that schedule, man. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I got one more super chat. So I want to knock that out from Christian Lewis. Thank you for another one. Thank you for super chat. I almost can't see you, Christian. Really appreciate you. Christian writes, Lou, I've seen Patrick Ramsey, Brunell, Campbell, Sanchez, Johnson, and Keenum, and I don't think Haskins was that bad, but he definitely didn't do what he did last year. No, you're right. We've went through the full gamut and spectrum of quarterbacks. We've went from, you know, okay to terrible. He wasn't terrible. You know, he wasn't at that end of the spectrum, but he did something that this organization, or some things that they didn't like, that we're not privy to. You know, we've heard the reports already about him not having the proper study habits and, you know, him not doing some of the things that they said he was doing when he first won the job. He wasn't doing. And for whatever reason, look, he wasn't playing well. We can see that. He was missing things. He wasn't extending the play like he was a year ago. He wasn't the same guy for whatever reason. I can't even explain that. I still struggle with what happened to the Dwayne that we saw at the end of last year that was out playing, making plays. He was just out there playing ball. I don't know. I still don't know the answer to that, but I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Remember, if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And also hit that like button if you're here. All right. Really appreciate you guys. Look forward to chopping it up with you tomorrow. We got a podcast live. All right. Right around noon. We'll be giving out the picks for week number 7 in the National Football League. Almost got off to an 0-1 start, but the Eagles came back, got the win. So I'm 1-0 in week 7. Looking for a bounce back. I've struggled the last 2 weeks. Looking for a bounce back week in week number 7. So we'll break this game down some more. We'll have some leftovers, as we always do on the Friday pod. So we'll have Thursday night leftovers, week 7 picks, and a bunch of other stuff. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys then. Eagles get the win 22-21 over the New York Giants. Giants dropped to 1-6. Speaking of dropping, they had an opportunity to win this football game. Evan Ingram with a catastrophic drop in this game really turned the tide, gave the Eagles that last opportunity that they needed to win this game, and they did. Carson Wentz was magnificent down the stretch, threw for over 350 yards and a couple of scores, including a beautiful touchdown pass to Boston Scott down the stretch as the Philadelphia Eagles rally from 11 down with 5 minutes left in this ball game to beat the New York Giants for the 8th straight time, 22-21. Eagles now lead the NFC East at 2-4-1. Giants miss an opportunity to win 2 straight and get to 2-5 as they drop to 1-6. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Remember, if it's not your man T, it's not, I repeat, not the best NFL coverage it could be. Until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.